Something I always end up sometimes falling into thoughts about is how it's hard to tell, or if maybe even impossible to tell. On a side note, I also had a thought like, say, if all that is are infinite intelligence or God or the moving image of eternity, everything that is, all that is, if it can do anything, I don't think that's true. I don't think it could extinguish itself. I think that might be an impossibility. So I don't think it can do anything. And there might be other things if you really thought about it, but I think that's at least one. That's a side note. What was I going to talk about? Oh, how it's hard to tell if it's just me. I know how it is, the notion of how my reality, my experience is just me, and there really is no other being in my reality. But there's one notion where you look at it as if that's literally the case, where there really literally is no other being, and you are a being so powerful, you're just able to delegate all the happenings and compartmentalize like awarenesses and levels of consciousnesses, and work it in a way to play with yourself and fool yourself. And it's always just been you, only you, no others at all. So any person I'm talking to on the other side of this phone or in daily life, they really do not exist. It's always just me. Now that's one way to look at it. And it's hard to tell from that. It's a funny thing, Alan Watts, I think, or Terrence McKenna said, I can't remember which one. You can imagine a bunch of people who have this thought, who think this way, sitting at a table, arguing which one is the real one. It could be funny. It's a perspective thing, because from the one person's perspective at the table, obviously, they're all him. He's delegating all that, and he's just playing with himself. And the fact that they're saying that they feel that way too. It's just part of the game. It's part of his illusion. It's part of the fun. It's all just him. And then from a perspective from outside the table, someone looking in the window, maybe at the meeting, it's just funny to think because they're from a different perspective, and each one supposedly at the table thinks they're the only one that's there. And so the person from the outside window looking, apparently they don't know he's out there. It's apparently not a real reality. It's just the reality of the super delegator sitting at the table. But they all think they're super delegators. It gets very weird. Anyway, that's one notion, the way to look at it, though. That's literally just you, and then no one else exists. It's hard to prove otherwise. Maybe you can't prove it. I don't know. I don't look that deep into it. But the other notion that still carries the same kind of idea is it is only you. But it's like a film or a window. I'm imagining one of those little needle things where you put your hand in and the person on the other side can see the indentation of your hand. Just pushes the needle rods through. I think you know what I'm talking about. It's something more like that. Well, yes, it's all your reality that you are creating. And you're using your reality, that's you. The formless, borderless, plasmoid, infinite pixel, moving image of eternity. You happen to be moving in this kind of way that you can fool yourself into thinking that you're a human on this planet. That's you. All right. Where were we on here? Where are we going? Okay, the other notion of I always get off on tangents of you being the only one. So that's you, and you're using that you as a kind of that pixel needly thing, right? Where they put the hand through, and the other people that you see in your reality, a person, say you're talking to on the street that you see every day, or a stranger, doesn't matter anything. You're seeing them, but you're only seeing them because they're pressing their reality up against yours. Never really touching, but you can see kind of the indentation. And it's an analogy, so it won't be perfect. But that, instead of being just an indentation of rods pushing or any other form you can think about to, like a window you can see through, or any other analogy. Instead of that, you perceive them as a human living in your experience. That's the way it comes through quantumly. You know, space on all sides. You can walk around them. You can see them. You can pick them up. You can touch them. You can look at them. You can, well, you're not really touching, as they figure out in physics. Nothing ever really touches. And that just goes for this analogy. And it's kind of like that. So you're using your reality to perceive the other beings, but using you to do it. And you're never really touching them, never really in their reality. But there are other beings out there, and it's not just you, although it is just you in your reality. Those are the two notions to look at that. I like this version better because that means there's other versions out there, and we're all kind of bumping up against each other. Although it's just me and my reality, and what I perceive is just the stuff of me. Well, the other one is I'm the only one here and no one else really exists. I'm just a super delegator or compartmentalizer. Or maybe it's some juxtaposition or like a combination of both of those. That could probably be it. It always is something weird like that, something paradoxical that seems to be the right answer and seems to be the most simplest and elegant answer when you get down to really understanding it. Almost so simple that you just like, you don't even think about it. I can't. Anyway, this was my we talk for today. I thought it was a really interesting one. I always fall into these thoughts but can never articulate them in a way, or I'll think, oh, let me try to get that thought down. I should write stuff. I really should, but I'm so bad at that. And I turn on the YouTube video and I can't even remember what I was thinking about. I'm like, god damn. But not this time. I kind of got it out there.